Production cave. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Not the production cave. We don't do that around here. We talk just straight TA and some good old charts with good old Bitcoin. Anyways, plenty to talk about today. But most importantly, announcements. Yes, we have announcements. Holy shit, we have a lot of announcements. My God, it is a 3-year anniversary of this place. What the fuck? What the fuck has actually happened with my life? That is insane. That's basically 1/10 of my life at this point, which is just ridiculous. And I don't even know what the fuck to think about it, but I do want to say a massive and heartfelt thank you to everyone out there for being a part of this community, because this has been, well, the pleasure of my life for the last few years. Really, it's been pretty fucking awesome. So I do want to say a massive happy anniversary to everyone out there. Even if you're new joining on this channel, I'm sure that it'll only be time before we become well acquainted. So with that said, it's a very special day. Of course, Bitcoin making new all-time highs as well. All's pretty fucking special as well. So a lot to be happy about right now. And with that said, let's go put the focus on the Krown Chain application, which by the way can be had for free for yours at app.krownchain.net. And what do we see over here? We see all kinds of things, actually, all kinds, to quote the good old Hodge twins. And Fear and Greed Index still stuck at that 76 read-ish, which is actually rather interesting because Bitcoin is, well, quite literally making new all-time highs over the last few days, and the market is technically not in that extreme greedy zone. If I recall, last time that Bitcoin was really even above 55,000 bucks, we were seeing extreme greed reads the whole way through. Now, of course, that is not, actionable in and of itself, but it is very, very interesting because the sentiment within this market is almost like, it's almost like people don't give a fuck right now. I don't really see too much commotion about Bitcoin doing what it's doing at this current moment, and it feels like this weekend was actually a rather quiet weekend, all things considered. Well, not respective of price action, of course. So with that said, I do think that is worth mentioning. And then, of course, we can go to the Bitcoin dominance over here, which actually did take a little bit down from yesterday to today, but I am still looking at a long-term reversal for that on the whole. As we have been saying, though, this is not necessarily applicable in the same way that it was before, because we have seen massive divergence within the altcoin sector. There should really be a differentiating factor between all the different altcoins, depending upon which sort of sector that they're in, because the DeFi sector is obviously pretty fucking hot right now, but every other sector is definitely, a lot less interesting, except for a few one-offs here and there. Certainly there are some winners, absolutely, but for the most part, we can say that I do believe that a lot of altcoins are going to be putting in, putting in a lot of highs there versus their Bitcoin Satoshi pairing. Not all of them, of course, so before I get yelled at, of course, you do have to take on a name by name basis, obviously. But with that said, on the whole, especially with the coins that were minted before this current cycle, which would be just anything that's not DeFi, I suppose, they kind of fall into that other category. And if we go down here and we look at the top 10 coins and top 10 worst coins, we can see that Bitcoin SV, EOS, Bitcoin Gold, and Bcash, Ethereum Classic, all within that same sort of narrative right there, right? Now they're not down like a whole hell of a lot, considering that they are alts and they can go down, literally fucking, not just like 5%, like that's kind of nothing as far as altcoins go, but 10 to 20%, I would say that this is, a little bit less concerning. And on the other side, we look at Harmony. What the fuck is this thing? 65%? Doesn't matter. Engine Coin, this one's been a perennial winner for the last like couple weeks. I feel like that we've been having it on here. It just keeps on showing up on the top 10 best coins. 33% again. Decentraland, same thing, 23%. That is just fucking insane, man. Anyways, oh my God, man. I'll read some of these off over here. Hey, what's up, Josh? Good morning to you, man. Good morning to you. Thank you for empowering me with your courses and streams to be a trader for a living. That sounds fucking awesome, man. I'm very, very happy for you. And goddamn, man, it's like I'm overwhelmed. Whenever I get into these situations, it's like you want to express gratitude, you want to express, you want to acknowledge, of course, but at the same time, it's like it's almost overwhelming. You don't even know what to say except for, wow, that's fucking awesome, man, and I'm really fucking happy for you. Hell yeah. Anyways, looking at the open interest over here, we do see that it is still maintaining its upside posturing around a little bit above 11.5 billion, which we have seen more importantly really rise up over the last couple days here. Well, not even the last couple days, but the last like 3-4 days actually, as we get into our chart format right here. So this is making new all-time highs. This was a damn good indication about a week ago, a little bit more than a week ago now, that Bitcoin was going to retest the prior all-time high and did give us that bullish bias, especially when Bitcoin broke the range above 51,500 bucks. That was the big one, playing into a lot of our more long-term analysis. And well, Bitcoin now following through on top of that. So we are seeing new all-time highs with open interest, supported with price action, as price action does fall through as well. Now, from yesterday to today, we actually did see a major fall off in the funding rate right here, which is a good thing. Now, of course, it is still trending up on the whole, as you can see, coming in from our early March lows. But with that in mind, I would be looking at that as I make sure that this is okay. Yes, that is properly situated over there. But I would be looking at this as, you know, a little bit of a reset coming into the new week. And if we go down over here, we can see that there are several exchanges actually above the 0.1% threshold, which we did see yesterday. So this is starting to be a little bit more concerning in the short term, but I'd still want to see it a little bit more. As we actually do see the global rate is below that 0.1, whereas yesterday it was actually above 0.1. So with that in mind, I do still think that it's certainly consideration, but I want to see this perpetuated for a little bit longer. And I imagine that's going to line up with a greater pullback coming off of one of our more greater upside targets. So I actually do still think that Bitcoin is bullish in the short and medium term timeframes here. Well, maybe short term is not like the best way to posturize that, because Bitcoin's actually playing out that pullback that we spoke about yesterday night too right now. So I would be looking for this to likely come to fruition maybe a little bit later this week or perhaps next week. But overall, I am still bullish on the higher term time frames. Short term time frames, you know, there's going to be an ebb and a flow because we are dealing with big numbers. Those, you know, those pullbacks can be rather fucking aggressive, obviously. But with all of that said, I think we've kind of gotten through the main things that I want to talk about here on the Krown Trading app. Also want to shill the app a little bit more just because, well, it is free, and I mean we created this for everyone to use, and I want to really put a big emphasis on the alerts over here. You can actually customize your alerts in the same way that TradingView allows you to, except you can do it with all of our data tabs over here. More importantly, we'll even give you more, what's it called? Inherent alerts to plot for yourself than TradingView's at least free accounts, of course. Anyways, you know, it does cost us money, so we do have to limit it a little bit, but you know, we can offer more than TradingView, at least on that metric. Looking at the perpetual versus future premium right here, I do think that this is a little bit more concerning as well. Again, Bitcoin will play at a greater pullback. I do think after hitting these next set of targets, as this is pretty fucking bifurcated, you really don't want to see that get too far ahead of itself. Now, naturally, it should differentiate itself, when things are trending rather strong. In this case, to the upside, obviously you're going to have a massive premium on your futures versus spot price action. But with that said, you know, I still don't think it's actionable just yet. We are seeing, you know, some concerns here in the underlying market dynamics, but I would still say that, you know, price action trumps all. And in this case, it's very likely to set up for a greater pullback when Bitcoin gets there, but I don't think that we're there just yet. And I do think it'd be a little bit premature. Now, I should say that because it is the 3-year anniversary, we actually are having a sale on all the programs, everything that we offer for 20% off. I'll perhaps do a little bit more of an in-depth explanation of that little spiel on that at the end of this video, because, you know, I understand that not a whole hell of a lot of people are going to be interested in that. That's completely fine. Not too many people should be interested in that, to be honest, as well, because these are really, you know, especially the programs are fucking in-depth. What I would say right now, though, if you are interested to check them out and to kind of figure out if it's going to be a good fit or not, watch the videos that explain them on the actual app itself, because that is going to go into depth. You know, it's going to be like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes long perhaps, but it'll let you know if this is even relevant to you or not in the first place, so you don't have to actually fucking waste your time with any more of that. Anyways, what else do I want to say? Yes, haha, we have another team member. We have a new team member, Mrs. Stephanie. She's our lovely customer service, and you're in good hands now as Elsa hands off the baton to Mrs. Stephanie. She's great, so she's actually been answering your emails in the overnight hours, and Elsa will still be still be there as well. But I would like to say a massive welcome to Mrs. Stephanie, because she is, well, she's actually really great. Anyways, with that said, is there anything else that I want to get into before we actually look at the charts themselves? No, I think that's it, actually. Yeah, let's go into the secondary charts right here. Let's start off with the long-term timeframes today. So we did see a bit of a pullback from yesterday to today to our areas just above 58,000 bucks, which is completely fine. I don't look at that as anything, you know, troubling for price action right now. It does still, you know, look more or less fine to me. I mean, this is a very light pullback on extremely light volume, which to me is just a little bit of profit taking, which you can, well, usually count on, especially after making new all-time highs over the weekend, especially. So with that in mind, you know, I do look at this as more or less fine, and I would still be using 58,000 bucks as a major pivot on this market. So I see no real reason to get bearish on Bitcoin. You know, choose your timeframes here. As long as Bitcoin's above 58,000 bucks. Now, Bitcoin goes below 58,000 bucks. Yes, we can maybe get short-term, medium-term bearish. You know, looking for another, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000 move to the downside to the next pivot, somewhere around like 55,000 bucks. I guess that would be more like 3,000 bucks actually, or 4,000 bucks. Sorry, bad mental math in the early morning hours. But more importantly, I would still be looking at that as a major pivot now that Bitcoin has actually had a few successful closes above it, and I essentially look at that as momentum carrying itself onwards and upwards. Now, of course, when we do look at at just the Trollinger Bands right here, there's a few things to be said before we even look at the oscillators, because there's, I mean, realistically, this is actually quite telling right here. So the Trollinger Bands are starting to expand, as you can see. They're starting to open up once again after tightening during this last little consolidation right here. I'll give you a few of the examples of where we've seen something similar to this, and it's just telling you that, things are contracting within this, which in this context does essentially insinuate a consolidation, similar to what we saw back on over here in January from about 30,000 to 40,000, similar to what we saw back on over here in December from, 17,000 to 20,000 about. Same thing back on over here in September between about 10,000 and 11,000. And all of these obviously did lead to upside breakouts, but more importantly, the way that you kind of look at this and interpret it through the Trollinger Bands is essentially this. We see expansion plus Bitcoin trending above the topside Trollinger Band in this case with the 20 simple, obviously price action is above it first and foremost. That's obviously, a big deal to begin with, but also it does have a positive slope. So all of these things combined with each other is essentially giving the bias for further upside, further upside here. And I still would have the same sort of target C upside here based off of this as a reaccumulation formation, because I think it's pretty fucking obvious that it is, especially looking at the open interest as we have been for the last couple weeks. I think that was one of the big keys right there. And this does have a measure move on a more what's it called, conservative estimate here towards a 2-spot extension right around 68 to 69,000 bucks. Great numbers right there, of course, as well. And I actually have been really liking this one because it's been working really, really well with price action, more importantly. But we can take a more aggressive extension as well, or sorry, not extension, but measure move as well. I'll show that in my other charts soon enough, but just kind of below the surprise, somewhere around about 72, I think, thousand, if I recall properly, as I did kind of adjust my charts a little bit this morning, just because every fucking week, it's good to kind of go back and clean them out a bit. Otherwise they get a bit stale and, it just becomes fucking convoluted with all these trend lines and whatnot. And it just becomes unreadable, which is not the purpose of them, obviously. So anyways, let's bring up the momentum oscillators down here, of which daily MACD still following through. Yes, we have seen the histogram loosen up a little bit on its momentum. However, I still do look at this as more or less good, alongside the DMI plus being dominant and still kind of crawling its way up, and the ADX strengthening here as well. Now, probably someone is going to try to fit a trend line between these ADX peaks. I don't think that actually works. At least I have not seen that in the past. I actually go off this by levels, and if you have seen the video that I uploaded on YouTube for the DMI ADX, it'll talk about the relevant levels for that. I believe it's like 25, 40, 50, and 75 right there. Anyways, looking at this right here, again, I do look at this as still a signal in motion, as we do have a very, 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 very similar signals that we have seen throughout this whole rally in the past, and just several other times in the past as well, where the DMI plus gets dominant above the threshold, and the ADX is strengthening below the threshold, below that 20-ish read right here. And whenever we see that, especially within the context of this generational uptrend, or maybe multi-generational uptrend perhaps, we have seen that is our continuation phases. Like you see right here, boom, that's your February massive up. Like we see right here, boom, that's your December massive up to 42,000. Like we see over here in October from about 11,000 to 20,000. And like we see over here from about 9,000 to 12,500 as well. So all of these, are pretty damn strong signals. Of course, that should be interpreted within the same context of the 55 exponential moving average down here and our bottom side Trollinger Band. And you know what, Mr. Nimbo, I see over there, and that reminds me, I should just have some good uniformity with this. Let's get that on a nice little green right there so that I don't fucking remember the colors. That's how it'd be massively helpful for myself, being that I am a visual person. Anyways, looking at this right here, I do want to do a little bit more of a deep dive into this because while Gravy and Mr. Punklandia have kind of brought this one up to me to begin with, there is a lot to be said about this just in its current posturing, especially with the historical reads that we've seen off of this. So we've talked about this many times, obviously. The 55 exponential moving average interplay with the bottom side Trollinger Band has essentially been a continuation signal throughout all of these, mega bases, if you will. This one coming back on over here, we can see, gets a bearish cross, has the bottom side Trollinger Band, blah, 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 crosses the upside right here, more importantly, then crosses above the 20 simple, and then just crawls its way upwards and onwards. And we don't really see a reversal until, no, I actually can't complete that sentence because that is not true in that case. But what I would say with this is that once you get this signal, the bullish cross right here, plus above the 20 simple with a positive slope, it is a slow melt to the upside. And we can see that we have that nice rising wick formation, of which I'm kind of looking for some similar right here as well. And if we were to draw a little bit of a trend line with it, we could do something like this right here. We could do something like this right here, very, 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 very similar stuff. Anyways, my point is that I'm essentially looking for Bitcoin to continue along this as long as that condition is met, obviously. So with that in mind, you can see that several other instances of this in the past have essentially been about the same thing, where once you get that signal, it is just continuation, a little bit of consolidations along the way, but typically does lead into a much more expansive phase. Anyways, let me turn on the actual sound over here because I'm missing a lot of these alerts. What's up, Josh? Are lower highs on the ADX a thing? On the ADX, technically no, but also technically yes, because it would insinuate divergence, but you really want to see divergence on the DMI, not the ADX part of that indicator. So, technically no. Although I have seen it work out in the past, but it's not something that I would put any sort of faith in. It's not something that I see a good enough history of, and it's not something that I would personally feel like akin to putting risk on for. Yeah, that's essentially what I want to say there. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't trust that. No, it's a DMI plus that you're looking for lower highs, which also could correlate with divergence, obviously. So it needs to be matched up momentum plus price action. That's the key right there. You can't just look at it as like lower high, because if it's a lower high on momentum plus a lower high on price action, well, that makes sense. I mean, that's a consolidation. That's nothing out of the ordinary. But if you get a lower high in your momentum plus a higher high on price action, what does that tell you? It tells you that momentum is waning and likely looking for a bit of a pullback, and vice versa for the for the upside. And of course, you can come up with hidden signals as well, aka continuations. But I think the RSI is a little bit better for that, actually. Anyways, looking at this over here again, I do want to show a few of the iterations just because this is pretty damn interesting right here, as we do have a very similar signature throughout the history of Bitcoin. And you see the same thing right here, gets a bullish cross, pops back above the 20 simple, positive slope all the way through, boom, there's your mega move, pretty much a 2x from about 20,000 to 40,000. Same thing over here as well. This one a little bit more of a long form consolidation, completely fine though, and eventually does break out. And then same thing several times actually to the downside in 2019, obviously, as that was a nice big old downtrend. So right now, I do essentially look at this as a lot more likely to continue. If Bitcoin does come back down to 58,000 bucks, I look at that as an opportunity on the first pass. I do kind of think that we might have already seen that pullback occur from what we saw around closure last night, as we spoke about, down just below 59,000 bucks, it looks like. But overall, 58,000 bucks is still that big pivot, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form bearish as long as Bitcoin's above there. To me, this is a lot more indicative of continuation rather than anything else. And I know that a lot of people are actually getting bearish on this market right now too, which is really interesting, saying or suggesting that like whales are selling or whatever the fuck. I don't know where that's coming. I'd like to see the same data that they are, but for all intents and purposes, I would have to respectfully disagree. I'm open to obviously seeing what they're seeing, but I would like to see some proof, not a fucking narrative, which sounds more like a media news type of deal, rather than like actual documentable, verifiable sort of things that can be related to price action. Anyways, should also bring this up as well. Now, I did speak about this a little bit yesterday. The Puol multiple right here, something that we used to look at a lot on this channel, especially in 2019 and 2018, judging the lows. And now on the other side, we're going to be judging the highs, it looks like. And you can see long term, do we see that this is in any way, shape, or form in danger of putting in like a macro high as it is right now? No, I would say not, as it has actually gotten the last 3 macro highs pretty much perfectly, actually. We can talk about this one over here in 2020, not 2020, that was your 20,000 high in 2018, right around here. This one over here in 2014, that's your $1,000 or $1,100 high. And about a year before that in 2013 does get the macro high right around ripe old price of $250. That's $250, not fucking like 250,000 or 25,000 or 2,500, but 250, which is fucking insane. Anyways, looking at this right here, it does give a little bit of insight into the macro from a fundamental perspective, as that is what this is kind of going off of. I should probably point you towards where you can get this, and it's in its prior destination. I believe you can get it on woobull.com. That's Willy Woo's site. He's really, really great for these sorts of like underlying market, like fundamental type of indicators, which is not a big portion of my game, but I do find that it's rather interesting, especially when you are trying to judge the long term of this asset, because, well, tentacles are basically going to tell you what you already know, and basically going to be repeating a lot of things I'd already say. It's like, all right, yeah, we have an uptrend. Do we have a reversal yet? No. Okay, what's more likely? Uptrend. Pretty fucking simple stuff. Not anything too crazy right there. Anyways, so looking at this right here, this is very clearly expanding to me as well. I mean, you can see that we had a nice accumulation if you are looking at it from this area right here, all between or all below this about 2.5 marker right here. And ever since then, it's been a markup. If you're familiar with Wyckoff, this would be your, well, this would be leading into your markup phase right here is what it looks like. So even if it even when it does get into the red zone, as you can see, it really doesn't become like critical until it gets a little bit deeper into it as well. So this will be your first warning signal, but probably not a full-on warning signal. Once it starts to get a little bit deeper, especially like 6+ is where it starts to say, okay, you know, this is now the time to be a little bit more cognizant of looking for a high on the macro cycle. And you know, just kind of comparing this with the past as well, we have seen that this is, you know, very I know it's fucking crazy, but very much within the context of Bitcoin, what it does kind of historically speaking. I mean, thus far from this breakout to where Bitcoin is at right now, we've seen about a 200% move, a little bit above 200% move, which is, you know, pretty damn big, obviously. I mean, that's very, very impressive. If you go over here to BLX index, we can see the same thing throughout all these new all-time highs. However, anytime that Bitcoin has closed on new all-time highs, which I believe I have right here, yep, I do. We have seen these melt up phases on a weekly, by the way. It's kitchen time, motherfucker. God damn it, Elsa, put that shit away. We got more important things to talk about right now, like magic internet money, which is very important right now. Anyways, this first one over here, about 466%, pretty fucking impressive. Then it closed on new all-time highs right here on the weekly. You will hit my face with a pen. I will destroy you, sir. I am much stronger and you are weak. Anyways. That's how I talk to my girlfriend. You are weak. You can do nothing. Anyways, you know, this one over here about 220% as well, and that's obviously on the lower side. Then we get a new closing all-time high right here. That's another 2,900%. Pretty fucking impressive, might I say. And then the next reversal over here into a new closure on new all-time highs. Another almost 1,300%. Not bad. Plus another reversal, and then a closure on new all-time highs. Plus another 609%. And then of course our 2017-2018 cycle over here, which did about, if I recall correctly, about 2,000%. Yeah, just under 2,000%. And right now you can see that while Bitcoin has done about 220% to the upside from our last prior high, that would be a little bit more on the lower side. And if we are thinking in terms of like outliers and kind of negating them, then we would look a little bit more in the sense of, you know, an average somewhere around about it's like a rather large range, by the way, but somewhere between about like, you know, maybe 1,000% actually, which is kind of crazy, which we could, you know, play around with the numbers right here. I don't want to do that because I don't want to stroke the fucking bull horns a little bit too much. You should wait to stroke the bull horns in the morning, of course. You know, got to clear out the cobwebs, of course, but with that said, I think I want to get off the higher term timeframes here, just because I mean, I'm just looking at this as continuation. Obviously, the weekly closing it on new all-time highs right here is going to be interpreted as more or less good, and I would be having kind of like a medium-term target towards the top side shoulder band, plus a natural resistance around there as well. That should naturally line up with one of our fib targets, of which, what do you fucking know? It does. It does. We got the 3.272 right around that region as well. So anywhere between about 64.5 to 65,000 bucks, I would be looking for another pullback if and when Bitcoin does get there. And with that said, let's actually go down to the lower term timeframes now to judge what's more likely in the short term timeframes here. Now, Bitcoin putting in a higher low, what it looks like on the 4 hour right now. Let's see if that's accompanied by any sort of divergence calls, because that would be really, really critical here to kind of judging this one. And what do you fucking know? We actually would have potential hidden bullish divergence if Bitcoin does confirm this as a higher low. How would Bitcoin confirm this as a higher low, you might be asking? Well, caretaker's indicator will do that for you, and that has made me really fucking lazy with all of this. But how would you do this in a more serious tone? Well, I would be looking at a closure back above about 60,900-ish region would certainly do it for me. Could we also use a 2 hour for this one as well? Yeah, very likely, yes. Yeah, 61,000 bucks is kind of where I'd be looking for on that. And we actually already even have that on the buy hourly right here as well. As you can see, that hidden bullish divergence coming off the lows, plus momentum turning back up. So if I did have to call it right now, yeah, I do think that Bitcoin likely does put in a little bit of a low here. I look at this as likely already you know, I'm sure that a lot of people are going to bring up the fucking gaps, the good old gaps, the good old gap boys. But at the end of the day, I look at this as a bit of a runaway gap or professional gap. If you're on the program, this is related in the gap theory video, I believe in the bonus section. And I mean, I don't really look at this as like a humongous gap to begin with. I mean, we see a high of about 58,365, low of about 58,755. I would even say that this one's like barely even registers to begin with. And more importantly, this is what is known as professional gap right here. You see this a lot of the time over the weekend when Bitcoin has gone through a bit of a long form consolidation and then gets continuation over the weekend. Similar to what we saw back on over here, similar to what we saw back on over here at about 9,600. and I think a few other times for these ones, which actually haven't been filled, anytime soon. And I'd imagine that this one down around here at about $24,000 might not ever even get filled, which can happen. Yes, it's rather rare. It's certainly a statistical anomaly right there, but this is obviously supported by other market dynamics going on. Which again, when you're leading into new all-time high breakouts, and that's a big markup over the weekend. Those ones have a lot more probability to actually never get filled, as they are essentially, that's essentially the market mover kind of speaking to you right there, that's saying that we're entering into a new phase. So it is completely different dynamic. Anyways, let's go through the lower term time frames right here. So if we are on CMEs, I think the chart looks a lot different, obviously. And this one looks a lot more like continuation, hidden bullish divergence off the lows on expanding historical volatility percentile, while momentum oscillators are turning back up as well. So I do trust CME chart a lot more for the short-term timeframes, especially on Monday in comparison to spot price action. And that has been the right call for the last few months. If you've actually noticed, on Monday and usually comes back into parity around Tuesday, but Monday especially, CME usually gets it right versus spot. Not always, but I'd say more than 80% of the time from what I've seen and what I've documented here. So with that said, looking at CMEs, yes, I'm looking for continuation, maybe even today, actually, very, very likely tomorrow, however. Anyways, going through the other lower term timeframes, we're seeing kind of more or less the same sort of shit. We see same sort of hidden bullish divergence coming off the lows, 1, 2, 3 stabs, twice actually, nice one right there. Plus momentum oscillators also heading back up as well. We would have even broken this trend line right here had you have identified one right there, or technically speaking, you'd want to see this next closure back above that region, but it's looking pretty fucking likely, you might say. And of course, that is accompanied by all the other same things that we've looked at on the 4 hour. So it's good to see uniformity between these two. And buyer lead, no. We have bearish divergence, so we must go down right now. So maybe a little bit of a short-term pullback. I mean, like I said, anywhere above $58,000 doesn't really change anything for me. So if Bitcoin did want to come all the way back down and tag $58,000, that's completely fine. I look at that as an opportunity. Closures below $58,000, that's where biases do start to change, at least for myself. But this one right here, I still look at momentum oscillator still headed upwards and northwards, holding the bullish control zone. I think kind of speaks for itself as well. And if we go down to the hourly, I imagine we'll see more or less the same thing here too. Actually, it doesn't even have that same sort of bearish divergence, which is rather interesting. But this one is going to be more or less flippy floppy, as you might imagine. It's fucking hourly. Anyways, with that said, let's go to the medium term time frame, see how they're operating right now. And again, I mean, this just looks like continuation to me. And a lot of people are going to call out, like your Stokes back here. And I would argue that these people just don't understand how momentum oscillators like Stokes work when you're in what is essentially price discovery. And what are we looking at right here? Anytime that you see your Stokes, especially in the critical zone during your strong trending moves, in this case, new all-time highs, but it doesn't need to be to new all-time highs, just your strong trending moves, that's actually a really good signal for continuation as well. What you'd probably more rather look at is of course RSI though, and I think that this one really speaks for itself here, as it's essentially saying that this is a rather healthy move. Nice little consolidation at the edge of the bullish control zone, back up. I mean, I'd even look at this as a breakout confirmation in and of itself, and probably does give another try towards the edge of the bullish control zone at the very least. Probably does come in contact with this trend line right here, which is a little bit below that to be fair, but overall I would say that it likely does get a free ride up there. So again, I am very hesitant to be bearish on the medium term and higher term timeframes for Bitcoin right now. I'm more or less looking at continuation probably this week. And of course, it should be noted that should it be noted? Actually, no, let's just go to the daily. Daily right here, more or less continuation as well, back to the bullish controls and a little bit of a pullback right there to the exponential. I mean, I look at that as good once again. We can have the same sort of trend line here too, marking off that divergence place, but that would still imply a little bit more upside here. So other things that actually do look like they're kind of slinking down right now in the short-term timeframes, but I imagine that around the time that traditional markets open back up, when I say traditional markets open back up, I mean U.S. markets. Not the world markets. Obviously, they're already trading. Japan is probably already going, and I think Europe opens up relatively soon. But I'm referencing traditional U.S. markets, which actually seen as we had daylight savings times in the U.S., but not in fucking Finland now. I think that they will open up at actually it doesn't matter if I give you my time because it's going to be different for you anyways, but it'd be like 3:30 Eastern European time, so we got to take an hour off that, I believe, something like that. So we actually will have to change around some of the times there because they will naturally be different, but for example, the daily total closure for Bitcoin is going to be, at 8 p.m. Eastern time rather than 7 now. So I do have to make that mental switch. But again, all the higher term timeframes that I go after right now are still looking more or less good to me. Daily Stokes still headed up nicely. Again, we do see that this area right here is kind of fraught with peril, right around the 95 read, but that would actually still imply a little bit more to the upside. And these actually have marked off a lot of the topping formations on this rally, but because this is just continuation, I mean, those obviously get reaccumulated, and what you're looking for is an interplay between the edge of the bullish control zone and that critical zone read, and that's what you want to see in your strong trending movements. And again, I think it's just easier to read on the RSI. That's going to give you more of an insight into the actual strength of this trend right now. And I look at this as pretty fucking good. I mean, this is a very good read going all the way back to March 2019. I mean, this is constructive as fucking constructive gets. So I would still be looking for this one to have its to still kind of have its day here. To be honest with you. Moving on to the 2-day and 3-day, let's see if we got anything new here as well. I mean, 2 days on new all-time highs, obviously. Same sort of things that we see across the board. Let's see what spot price action looks like. Yeah, spot price action, again, we could very easily have a backfill down to 58,000 bucks. No problem on that. But overall, I'm still looking for this one to continue here. 2-day Stokes, nice and up and at 'em, back into the deep bullish control zone, that is. And 2-day RSI, same thing here as well. I'd be looking for a bounce off that exponential if we close tonight, which do we close tonight? We do close tonight. Hey, okay, so nice one. That's what I'd be keeping an eye on today. And I'm curious if that actually does have an interplay with our Troll bands too. Yes, it does. So if you do see a 2-day closure above 62,000 bucks today, extremely likely we will be seeing Bitcoin make its way over to that, 68 to 69, or let's just call it $69,000 target, because it's a better number right there. And I would be looking for probably continuation on top of that. After a bit of a pullback there as well. Robin Morris says, Krown, Robin, do you think the lows of CTR pie plot? Okay, so you're talking about the reverse pie indicator on the previous market cycle could be any indication. Do you think the lows of the, okay, first off, I'm not sure if I understand exactly what you're referencing here, so let's make sure that we're on the same page. Fuck, I shouldn't be getting into this before I'm actually ready to get, god damn it, man. God damn it. All right, well, you know what? Did it now, Robin. Anyways, okay, do you think that you can use the prior low? So I think you're talking about like the low reads on the reverse function, probably, if I had to guess. So let's, I mean, first off, I don't know if we can even get down there. Oh, Jesus, man, this is going to be way, I don't even know if this is going to fucking register here, to be honest with you. Yeah, this is getting into like insane levels. Could it be used? Maybe, if I can actually get down there. Man, I might be doing this for forever. I don't know if can I actually even get down there? It looks, look, man, this is gonna take too fucking long. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what those reads are. Actually, we can just kind of reference it right there. But what would that be? We can look at the numbers. 10.6 versus, no, these are completely different reads. I'd have to say that's, I have to say, maybe I just got trolled right there, because I'm going to be on an endless fucking loop of scrolling that down. No, I don't think that you can say that, or at least I can't even find the information of where you might see that. But from what we can see from, from the reads right here, they were not lining up in any way, shape, or form from what we saw. But maybe I'm not precisely understanding exactly what you're asking for. But for reference, while we are here right now, it should be noted that the percentage from the reverse function that current price action is right now is about 87.75. Which is, certainly crawling its way down now. I mean, we've seen this come all the way down from just above like 92 last week, now down almost 5%, which is kind of big deal. So I do think that we are coming into a greater top, like somewhat soonish here, but still, to give that its due diligence, how far away would price action have to be in order to kind of meet that threshold of about 80%, where it becomes like a big warning signal? I mean, I would even say that 80% is probably good enough for me, historically speaking. 75% is like no questions asked. Fun part's over. But as it stands right now, what would 80% away from price action be? That would be around 90,000 bucks. If we were to take that about 75%, that would be about just under 120,000 bucks as well. So it's still way up there, but you can see that it's actually coming down rather aggressively here. And technically speaking, we have seen that sort of lower low structure on the reverse function as well, which we have seen in the past, which is a pretty damn good indication that party could is going to be over somewhat soonish. Still is a lot to go. Obviously, if we go over here to BLX index, we can get some more history. Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Now I've done it again. Jeez, God damn, man. But still, you know, it's not quite there just yet from a percentage basis. So I do think that, you know, I do still think that it has a little bit more to go. Jesus Christ, man, here they come. Here they come. Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. All right, let's see. Fox and Hound says, "Dear Swedish boy Krown, dear sweetest Fox and Hound." that was very lovely. Please bless me with your. Okay, whoa. I'm just fucking moron on the internet. Putting too much pressure on me, man, or woman. Sand USDT on Binance 4-hour. Oh baby, we're going low term timeframes on shitcoins. Oh, what could go wrong with this? What could go wrong with this? 4-hour Binance bullshit. Let's see. First off, is this even a good chart to begin with? I want to see it on like a daily. Yeah, it is a good chart to begin with. So you know what doesn't deserve the good old altcoin treatment for the most part. Short term, I'll be looking a little bit of downside. 4-hour Jewel is giving a downside posturing, actually even a bit of a sell signal. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come back down to like maybe just below 60 cents region, but I would be looking for bounces around 55 region. Yeah, around, you know, around 55-ish region. The thing is that would I be bearish on this one long term? Not necessarily just yet, no. I mean, there's nothing really bearish about an uptrend, especially. Now, again, we don't really have too much history on this one, but I do understand that you're asking specifically about a 4-hour. Yeah, if I'm looking at a 4-hour, probably a little bit of short term down. I think 64.25 is quite obvious there for a 4-hour. Personally speaking, I do think that it probably comes down to about 56 cents. And tries a bit of a higher low right there, because all momentum oscillators are pointed southwards right now. Even a little bit of bearish divergence right there, plus Jewel sell signal. Not going to be the best setup, although it is a little bit premature to kind of be shorting into a fucking massive uptrend. Difficult. That's kind of the inherent issues with playing these altcoins. You just don't have the history to kind of be basing it off of. But if I did have to call it, that's kind of what I'd say right there. I'd also imagine it's kind of depend about a lot about what Bitcoin does here too. If Bitcoin continues to the upside, probably going to get picked up as well. So it depends what time frame that you're kind of looking at right now. Bitcoin Delphine says, "Happy anniversary, sir. Is a 3-day Jewel still valid?" I don't think it's been valid for a long time, actually. The key was coming into last week when we saw this action right here. You see that pink curling back up? That's your signal that that's not going to work out. And I believe we also said last week, look, if we're having like fucking 10 bullish signals on high term time frames versus one bearish signal, albeit a pretty fucking big one historically speaking, I'm going to go with the 10. I'm going to go with the 10 in that case. So in the, you know, so while it was a concern last week, that was the only thing compared to like the 10 or so bullish signals. And you know, you have to understand, when I'm doing these videos, I want to remain somewhat neutral. I want to just want to present, you know, the things that I'm looking at, and I suppose like the facts, as factual as you can get with technical analysis, of course. But you know, but with that said, I don't think it was a big concern, considering, you know, the massive outweighing of all the higher term timeframes, still suggesting, you know, further continuation signals. By the way, forgot to mention this as well. We do officially have hidden bullish divergence confirmed on the weekly. Obviously, this was more or less of a formality coming into Friday, as we already saw CME's close and confirm that one. And again, this would be giving the bullish bias over the next week or two for Bitcoin to make new all-time highs. I'm not bearish here, man. I'm just not bearish on the higher term timeframes. Lower term timeframes, yeah, can come back down to 58,000 bucks. I don't look at that as anything problematic. I'm not trading the lower term timeframes like at all. I've switched into pretty much only medium and higher term timeframes, with an emphasis on the higher term timeframes here, and it's actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice of, you know, change of pace. But yeah, looking at the weekly Stoics right here, still angled upwards, but you know, getting a bit tired, of course. So it will be concerned, but I wouldn't put it past Bitcoin to have another continuation phase first, and then play out a bit of a pullback. Anyways, let's see, what else do we got? I feel like I just missed something else. What the fuck is going on over here? Jesus Christ, man. Let's see. Rami says, "Hi, Krown. Looks like Bitcoin never closed below its all-time high since it broke 20,000 bucks. Would that be an issue if it does this time?" Okay, so hold on. Rami, if I understand your question properly, you're saying Bitcoin looks like never closed below its all-time highs since it broke 20,000 bucks. Would that be an issue if it does this time? Okay, do you mean if Bitcoin were to come back down and close, let's say like a higher term time frame above 20,000 bucks, the prior all-time high? Is that what you mean? If so, yes, that would be very fucking problematic. Very fucking problematic. But I'm not sure if that's what you mean just yet. But if I understand your question properly, then that would be my answer for that. Let's see. No More Paper says happy third. Hey, fuck yeah, man. Happy third indeed. Adam Binance daily. Okay, let's see. All right, let's do it. Let's see what we got over here. I'm guessing you're looking at I don't know what base pair you're looking at. I'm gonna guess US dollar because that's probably gonna be the more interesting, the more forgiving of the two pairs right now. Let's see. Daily on Binance. Okay, we can do that. Okay, we actually have a decent amount of history here. It looks like a consolidation at a high level. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna call this a descending triangle right here. I don't think it is. No. I do think that it has some short-term downside. Yes, Daily Jewel is giving a continuation Holiday or short signal there too. So I probably would be looking for another drive down to like 16 and a quarter, but I'd be looking for 16 and a quarter to bounce it. And perhaps that does become the next major low, especially if Bitcoin continues here. It just makes it very, it's not, it's not wise to be bearish versus US dollar if Bitcoin is bullish versus US dollar. That's kind of the lens that I come through. So in this case right here, yeah, I'd be looking for a little bit of short-term downside, but I'd be looking for that to get picked up as well after kind of plays out that next signal. Let's see, what is we will likely have divergence calls there as well, just because where's our last higher low in this structure? I mean, shit, man, it's like God, it's like way the fuck back on over here. So yeah, it's got a lot of error there to be fair, but ultimately I would be looking for it to get picked back on up. So short-term down, yes. Long term, still probably some upside. I mean, I'm not really bearish on a chart that looks like this. Yes, momentum is turning down, but ultimately, I think that just likely brings it back down to support. Does get reaccumulated. Probably spend some time going sideways there too. Hey, thanks for that, Ruby Rude. But again, man, feel free to post a comment, man. Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, I want to make sure that I actually hit everything over here. Okay, yes, we got that. We got that. Nice one. All right. Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, Tinos? Good to see you, Mr. Tinos. Holy shit, man. It's a fucking OG of the cave. Hell yeah, man. I always love seeing people who have been here for a long time just because, you get to know people over time, too. Pretty fucking awesome. Abbott Dynamic Design and Manufacturing LLC says happy anniversary, Krown. Happy anniversary to you too, sir. Looking forward to another 3 years of those kitchen sounds. That's up to Elsa, man. Let's just fucking throw her in there, chain her up. She says you're welcome if you can't hear her. Nick says, can you hey, what's up, Filson? Good to see Mr. Filson, another OG of OGs, and Brian S as well. Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, we can check out Link. I'm sure that's a hot one as always. Link coming down to about 28 and a quarter. Yeah, this one looks very similar to actually that last altcoin that we looked at. Maybe a little bit of short-term downside here as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one make another run at the last sort of low within the structure, maybe even down at $25. But ultimately, I'd be looking for it to get picked back up on there as well. I still am not. I'm just not gonna be bearish on something that looks like this. Fuck, I wouldn't even be surprised to see this one try a little bit of a low structure where it is right now. Let's go down to the lower term time frame to see if that makes sense. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't actually. Yeah, probably a little bit of short-term downside here, but ultimately I do think that it gets reaccumulated. You can't see higher lows within the structure, obviously, but short-term, medium-term, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of downside. Long-term, I'd still be looking at this one as probably like to join the rest of the market. Your next big pivot to the upside is going to be right here, right at this $31.50 region. As long as it's below there, not really anything too exciting to talk about. Above $31.50, I would be bullish on this one once again, like in trending momentum, in the same way that Bitcoin, regained itself back above $51,500. So I'd be looking for a retest of all-time high and probably make new all-time highs on top of that as well. All right, let's see. I think I missed a few things over here too. Jesus Christ, man, they're fucking flying at my face right now. God damn. Hey, what's up, Ethereal? If you care to check out any other charts, check out ASX APT. Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. All right, what's this APT thing? Afterpay. Yeah. Wait, what is this? I've seen this somewhere before. Maybe someone just. You know what? What the fuck is it? Some sort of a payment processor?
I think it's in America.
Well, it's actually in Australia. So, what are we looking at right here? Potato, fuck off. Short term, probably a little bit of downside. I mean, this is some pretty intense selling right there, to be fair. What would be looking at on the daily? I'd be looking at another run towards a 200x benchmark average, like right down, like just below $100, and probably tries another bounce there. If it starts to break $98 or $97.50, that's when I'd start to panic a little bit more. Well, panic is not the right terminology, but I'd be looking for the next markdown phase after that, down to about $70 to $75 region. But for right now, short term down, be looking for another bounce here, and then if that bounce fails, then you got problems. But until then, I wouldn't necessarily call it that just yet. No More Paper says ENJ USD daily Binance. All right, we can do that one. This one's been a perennial winner. Well, I don't know about perennial, but it's at least been a big winner over the last over the last like week or so that I think it's been showing up on the app. It's been looking pretty damn good. And you said specifically the daily. Yeah, the daily versus US dollar. Yeah, there's nothing bearish about this thing making new all-time highs, man. Nothing bearish at all. Now, is it actually making new all-time highs? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so very, very good history over a long period of time. We can actually even use a weekly on this one as well. You can see a clear formation here too. I mean, it's one massive ascending triangle, right? And we even hit all of our upside trajectory targets to begin with. So this one's in clear price discovery. I mean, you know, what's difficult about these ones right here is that, yeah, it's going to fucking reverse. I mean, it's going to be difficult to keep this momentum up as it stands, but for the time being, I'm very hesitant to call a reversal before we actually even have something in place. And right now, we don't even have bearish divergence on the daily, even possible right now. This one's continuation first, needs to put in a high, then at least another secondary high, and then if I start to see some divergences plus momentum turning down, at that point, at least I could call like a medium-term high. But for right now, it looks like more continuation. I don't really have any other sets of targets. I mean, maybe we can get some from this right here. No, it's not. It's already above all that. So this one's kind of all air right now. But I do, you know, if I had to call it, I do think that there's a little bit more to the upside here. However, how much more compared to like the next compared to like the next big downside? I mean, that's. I mean, this one's way the fuck out on Mars right now. Look at the weekly RSI here too. I mean, this one's very rarely do you see it get above 90. Even rare, obviously, do you see it get above 95. So yeah, it probably does have a little more upside, but I'd be very, 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 very careful with this one. I don't think that this. I think that this one probably does have some nice downside. Maybe with it, maybe at the end of this month, something like that. Needs to put in a high first, and then we can start to actually look for like big reversal targets. I would imagine that this one probably does make another gun for like maybe even all the way down to $1. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I mean, we see fucking this is like the definition of chasing right there, which is good long term. But because these numbers are just so massive. I mean, for reference, this is a almost 400% run. I mean, it is a 400% run basically. Above your prior all-time high. Obviously, the pullback's gonna be pretty nasty as well. Holy shit, man. Okay, hold on. Whoa, god damn, man. God damn. All right, let's see. New 510 says, Krown bro, new bro. Can you look at this S-coin pump? S-coin pump. Bet-pro USDT. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is it's like memed up too. B Pro. Oh, on KuCoin, you know it's gonna be fucking great, don't you? I missed you while you were gone. By the way, lost a bunch of money. What the fuck? You lost a bunch of money? How can you lose money in this market? Sorry, I don't mean to come off as a dickhead, but how can you lose money in this market right now? It's just straight to the upside. It's like, fucking monkeys are making money right now. What am I looking at right here? Looks like an uptrend, man. Again, continuation. You do see breakout volume for the history that we do have, which is actually, I guess, okay in comparison to a lot of the other shitcoins that we look at. At least it's going back to December 2019, so a little bit more than a year here. Working on 2 years, I guess. That's okay. I'd be looking for new all-time highs on this one. Again, this is continuation by definition. See an obvious ascending triangle right here. We can probably plot out a measure move from that, which I'll just do it by fucking. Oh Jesus Christ, we've already even hit that target plus continuation on top of that. So this one's just melting right now, just fucking melting. I'll be looking for more and more continuation here until I see some sort of divergence calls on do we even have it on a 4 hour right now? I mean, this is even further breakout volume right here. Whenever I see something like this, okay, this is actually a good one to kind of zero in on. You see this down here, no volume, and then out of fucking nowhere, markup plus massive volume pouring in. Someone knows something that we don't. So I'd imagine that this has probably got, I don't know, some sort of an announcement coming up or some sort of an event coming up. And any insiders are essentially, showing their hands right now is what that looks like after about a year of accumulation on this just absolutely dastardly chart right here. Again, that is the shitcoin way, right? In the sense that like seems to do something out of nowhere. Which is I think a big reason why a lot of people like shitcoins. But fair enough. This one actually does have an okay amount of history, I suppose. Again, not perfect, but okay. No more paper says Polkadot USD daily Binance. I'm guessing this is the dot. Okay, dot USD on Binance. Okay, let's see what Binance is looking like right here. Yeah, consolidation at a high level. Obvious ascending triangle right here, so reaccumulation is implied. Volume signature really starting to drop off. I'd be looking for this one to break actually probably even this week. I mean, you can see a clear trend line coming in right there, and that is wedging itself in. I mean, this is certainly more than 75%, so I'd say that it's extremely likely to break one way or the other this week actually. In this case, I mean, because this is an uptrend, because this is reaccumulation, because this is an ascending triangle, I'd say the probability of it breaking to the upside is a lot more in comparison to the downside. And technically speaking, you can make a measure move on this one as well, seeing as it is an ascending triangle, which I believe we've already done. And I'll still be looking towards, 48 to 49 bucks. That would be, breakout would be confirmed here one of two ways. Of course, a daily closure above the prior high at about 39 and 75 would obviously be the best. But even just taking up the high of this consolidation about 40.15. So even just a tick above there would be good enough for continuation for me as well. Now, of course, to the other side, if this one actually does break to the downside, which there are several actually kind of nasty things going on right here. Daily Jewel could be an issue. Daily Stokes turning a little bit down there as well. And daily RSI is actually still bullish posturing here. To be fair, yeah. Again, I'm more akin to think that the Jewel is gonna get this one wrong right here, or at least it's not gonna wedge itself into like an actual signal. I'll still say that this one's likely, a lot more likely to break to the upside than the downside. But if you do see a break to the downside, you'll know one of two ways as well. Either a breakage below the 21, which is about just under 35 bucks at 34.90. Could probably even use the short-term timeframes here as well. I'd use this area right here. However, this area would be about 34 bucks, and I'd be looking for a markdown all the way to just below 30 bucks at about 29 and some odd cents. Again, I would certainly favor the upside here, obviously, just based off of all the things that we see. But it's good to talk about both sides, of course, too. Anyways, fair weather trading, baby. That's right. It's good to be bullish when things are fucking bullish. Bad to be bearish when things, when things are bullish, obviously. Dennis Tukarik says, Cardano USD daily, weekly. Man, I was waiting for Cardano today. All right, let's see. We got Cardano USD right here. I guess Binance probably the best one to be going to. Daily, weekly. Fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Super awesome. But let's look at your chart for you. Short term, I do think that it, maybe has a little bit more short term downside here. Could put in a base right around 90 cents. I do believe last week we did say a buck was very likely. We've pretty much got that right here. So is that enough? I mean, we are seeing a bullish reset on just about everything right now. This is actually pretty good posturing on a lot of oscillators for continuation, to be fair. The weekly, however, a little bit more in limbo here. I would be more, I'd be a little bit more on the short-term downside, I suppose. Yeah, especially based off the 4-hour right here. Yeah, even hidden bearish evidence along the way. So short-term, a little bit of downside. We pretty much hit. We have hit that $1 target. Yes, below there a little bit. I'd probably be looking for it to trade a little bit lower than this, maybe like 96, 97 cents, and then probably try to put in a higher low right there. And it sounds like you're more concerned with the higher term timeframes, so I think maybe that's not even relevant to you. Overall, I would be looking for this one to trade more or less sideways within a range for a bit of time. I don't think that, I think that this one's had a pretty fucking phenomenal move here. And remember when Bitcoin reapproached its prior all-time high at about 20,000 bucks, and it put in a nice sideways consolidation for, I don't know, about a month or so? I'd be looking for something similar here as well. In this one, you can see very clearly that this, is going into a bit of a consolidation at the very least. So short term, a little bit of downside. However, I'd be looking for more or less a sideways range to kind of come about between about, I don't know, what was that low side, like 98 cents or something? Or 96 cents, I forget exactly, and then our high structured about 130, and probably put in some time, baking there. And then if Bitcoin does break to the upside, I'd probably be looking for this one to continue onwards and upwards as well. But first things first, I want to see some sideways consolidation. That would be nice and healthy, especially after a fucking massive run like this. Anyways, moving on, we got new 007 or just 07. Sup new. Can you check? I haven't heard sup in a long time. Can you check out XVS USDT on Binance 24 and 4 hour? Okay, what the fuck is this? XVS. Okay, this is a new one. I don't think I've seen this one ever, in fact. So this one's new for me. It looks like a lot of these new shitcoins right here. Definitely benefiting from the current market cycle with Bitcoin, especially. I'd be looking for a bit of a base on the weekly at about 40.5. I know you didn't specifically ask about that, but I think it's just more obvious on the weekly right here. Anywhere above the last week's high at 64.5 bucks. 65 and 40 cents. 65 and 40 cents to be exact. I'll be looking for a retest for all-time high and very likely new all-time highs to follow after that. Let's go down to the daily as you asked for. Short term, a little bit of downside. I'd be looking for like maybe 40 bucks to be tested again. Anywhere between about 40 and actually Actually, a little bit lower on a 4 hour, which you did ask about as well. About 38.5 to $40 where I'd be looking for short term. Probably does bounce there. I do think that this one is likely to get reaccumulated within this region, more or less based off of the current market cycle that we see across the lands here in the cryptoscape. So, a little bit of short term downside, and I'd be looking for some sideways and probably follows the rest of the market to the upside, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see. Dan Henderson says, Dear Krown, Dear Dan, how good to see you. Can you please cover the girth and bounty of green-red skin flutes for Envis? Before that was, I see you're a man of culture. Goddamn. All right, Envis right here. Microvision. I'm guessing this is the one on NASDAQ that you are looking for. 4 hour looks good. Looks very good to me, actually. Short term, I'd be looking for a little bit of upside, back up to $20. You said, I think, a daily as well. No, you did not say a daily, but I'll look at a daily anyways. Daily was fucking good to me, man. I wouldn't just be looking for continuation right there. We see several good things, right? And this is why I love stocks. You got a lot of history. You got a lot of history for the most part. Playing off the same trend line going all the way back to August 2020, good. Playing off some hidden bullish divergence right here after a bullish reset, very good. I'd very likely be looking for the RSI to get back in the bullish control zone, plus a higher low structure. Oh, that's fucking nice. And lower term timeframes also, I mean, more or less popping above the medium of this range as well. So I'd be looking for this one to retest probably northwards of $20, and probably does get continuation overall. I mean, we can make an extension on this one as well. Let's actually take a more conservative estimate on this one. I'd be looking at something like this, and I'd really be targeting like the 414 and the 618 here long term, which I don't know if you're concerned with the long term or not, but that'd be around $30 long term, that is, again, which you actually didn't ask for, so fair enough. Josh said, hey, what's up, Josh? What does Josh say? Hold on, just zoomed around. VTHO, USDT Binance. Okay, VTHO, what the hell is this, man? Man, you know all of these, oh my fucking God. Jesus fucking Christ. There you go. I mean, there's this is like a textbook Wyckoff right here. Accumulation all the way through August 2020, that is, to February 2021. Markup, reaccumulation, markup. This one's going to make new all-time highs. It's already making new all-time highs. This one is one of the more strong alts, actually. So fucking good on you, Josh. I mean, you've been finding a lot of these, man. And again, altcoins aren't really my game, but I do understand that right now it doesn't. It is pretty attractive. I will admit it's very attractive, even though I still won't bite the bullet on it. Daily RSI really fucking good right here. Hidden bullish divergence all the way through. Higher lows. Again, that reaccumulation right there probably has a measure move on it. Let's see what that would be about. Be something like that, which we've actually already hit. Let's see what an extension would kind of plot as well. Yeah, we can get even deeper targets than that. 618's right around 0.128 region. That would be the next big target that I'd be looking for. Probably a greater pullback off that region. Anywhere around there, just around 0.012-ish region is kind of like the kill zone for the medium term timeframes. I'd be looking for, at the very least, the high to be put in there, maybe even a long term high as well. But for now, a little bit of short term upside still implied. Lower term timeframes are continuation right here. This is a breakout in progress, quite literally. So pretty fucking good, man. Pretty fucking good. And I'll be looking for a little bit more continuation on that one. I get confused how to target all-time high on Blue Sky breakout with fibs. Yeah, so in this case, this is about the best that I can do for this. And we're just looking for algo targets here, because realistically in Blue Sky breakouts, it's a question of, are you going to be going with the bot scalpers, or are you going to be going with like are you just going to be going with the trend? In that case, if you're going with the trend, obviously I want to see like confirmed highs and then divergence calls on top of that. And there's very specific things, of course, with seeing like, obviously 3 highs in a row plus waning momentum. That's usually going to be a good one, accompanied by momentum turning down on some like Stokes is going to be good as well. You want to see that on, at the very least, a daily. This thing doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of history to kind of answer your question a little more directly, but in this case it sounds like you're more or less looking for those next areas of interest, and this is what I'd say right here. So 0.12 would be the next like major area, and then long term, if you are thinking long term, I don't know if you are or not, I'd be looking at about 0.016 region long term. But first things first, have to hit those low, the lower targets. And what's up, Jeremy Shulman? Welcome to the cave, sir. Welcome to the cave indeed. Okay, hey, what's up, BG? Holy shit, another cave OG. Fucking lovely, man. Happy birthday to all cavemen and women as well. Thanks, Krown. Hey, man, thank you massively, BG, and good to see you as well. There he is, Mr. Junior Riggs, another oh my god, man. I remember Junior Riggs from like literally 3 years ago. Literally fucking 3 years ago, man, in 2018. That is, god damn, man, that is seriously awesome. He's got some nice emojis over there. Booley Brodot says Bitcoin pullback before macro 4 spot 236 fib 70,700. Isn't it early in the cycle to pass that level? I don't think about it in that way. The way that I think about it is just in terms of whether it's more likely to have continuation or not, and then the next major areas to be aware of. And I would bless you, sir or ma'am, whatever the fuck you are. Hey, I'm a unicorn. Anyways, you know what, Elsa? Fuck off. There we go. Anyways, so first off, 70,700 is actually not on my screen. The areas that I'm actually looking at as relevant to the upside are these areas right here, just above 68,000 bucks to 69,000 bucks, kind of where I'd be looking at, depending upon what time frame that you're looking at. I think that that's kind of a big area right there. And then it's actually not 70,700 that I'd be looking at. On top of that, it would be, let's see what it is. Yeah, so this would be a more aggressive measure move. It'd actually be about 72,000 bucks in line with the spot extension right here. That's a lot more of an aggressive measure move, which you will get in more aggressive markets, with which we kind of are. That was what I was postulating on the last drive, which topped out about 58,000 bucks, where I was kind of saying like 62,000 bucks, you might see a spike up there. It'd be kind of like the same thing here too. You know, if you see a very aggressive move to like 72,000 bucks spike before having like a more medium-term consolidation at about 68 to 69,000 bucks right here, then I would be looking for a greater range to be kind of based upon that region. And of course, that first test of 72 would actually be I'd be looking for a hard rejection, at least on first pass. There's going to be very likely a lot of profit taking there, to be honest with you. But that's actually not your question. Your question is, isn't it early in the cycle to pass that level? No, that's not the way that I think about it. The way that I think about it is just relevancy of levels to begin with, in line with where price action is. So it doesn't timing of that doesn't really make the problem with trying to time those sorts of things is that I've just never seen a good way to do it. I've never seen a verifiable, documentable way to make that sort of a correlation. I just haven't seen it done in the case where like I would feel comfortable talking about it on a venue like this, where I guess my reputation is at fucking risk, I suppose. So yeah. All right, let's see what else we got. Jonathan Washington says 3 years, bro. Fuck yeah, baby. H-bar, BTC, my fucking man, Jonathan Washington. I believe, yeah, you've been a fucking OG as well. Holy shit, man. All the OGs are crawling out the woodworks right now. God damn, man. That is seriously awesome. All right, Mr. Joshua, let's see. H-bar. H-bar sounds familiar somewhat, I think. BTC, we're seeing our first Bitcoin pairing today. Hedera Hashgraph. What the fuck is this thing? Daily, is the rally real? Well, from what I see right now, it looks so. Is the rally real? I mean, we see a clear pump and dump here. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, this is a pump and dump by definition, but is the pump real? I mean, the pump is real. I mean, you can't really say that something like this is fake when if you were to sell right here and you bought down here, that is real profit. So is the pump real? I guess what you mean by that is like, is it likely to continue right now? I'd actually be looking for first a pullback from this region. Probably does base down around about the devil's number, 666 Satoshis. I'd probably be looking for a short-term downside move. Let's see what the short-term timeframes are looking like. Actually, they're not even looking. They're looking like continuation as well. You know what, Jonathan? I think this one's probably more likely to continue here, man. If you see any sort of a closure above 775 Satoshis, I'd be looking for a retest of these per all-time highs at 865 and probably beyond within this market. Do we see weekly higher lows here? No, we don't, I believe. Hold on, let's see what a weekly looks like. Yeah, we actually don't. So this is concerning to me because this is kind of like a pump and dump, to be fair. But is it more likely to try some more upside here? I mean, I'm not really getting too many warning signals just yet. Let's see. What about a daily right here? Yeah, it's coming into contact here. Yes, RSI is getting way the fuck up there, but that's nothing without comparison to something in the past, and we don't even have a fucking local high just yet. So first things first, I'd want to see a high put in, probably a little bit of a short-term time frame pullback, maybe like 660, 666 if you want to be the devil, and then I'd be looking for another try to the upside after that, man. So long-term, I'd actually probably be looking for this one to try back towards its all-time highs. Short-term, medium-term, I'm a little bit less convicted on. I do think that there could still be a threat of a pullback down to like 660-ish region first, actually. it'd actually be a lot more healthier to do that as well first, but no promises on that one. This is, well, this I think this is another reason why people love fucking shitcoins, man. They just do this out of nowhere. But I'd be very, 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 very cognizant that it does have characteristics of a long-term pump and dump. So when it does dump, it's gonna be time to get the fuck out of the way. So where would be like the major level is probably what you're wondering, as to like, okay, this thing is like once again in trouble. Well, obviously below 500 satoshis, this thing is fucked. Could we find something better than that? Yeah, I'd say 560 satoshis. That is your long-term basing level. As long as it's above 560, long-term, I suppose, I'd just remain more or less bullish with pullbacks potentially down to about 660. However, below there, that's where I'd be looking for another dump phase within this pump and dump structure, to be honest with you, man. So I guess the rally is real for now. I mean, did you see kind of I don't know if the volume's really pouring in on this one. This is Binance, man. Binance is just notoriously, notoriously not the most, I won't finish that sentence just in case CZ, I don't know, maybe he's fucking watching and I don't know, maybe he's like, fuck you, Krown. Did you just say that we fake our volume? We do wash trading. That's right, CZ, you're being investigated. Just kidding. Well, actually, he is being investigated, or maybe not him, but his platform. Who knows what the fuck happens with that? But I should denote that we actually do have a daily golden cross right here. So I am more or less on the upside there. Respectfully speaking, Mr. Coop, Mr. fucking Coop. There he is, Alpha USD 4 hour. I got you, man. I got you. All right, let's see what this thing is. All right, Mr. Coop, what do we got right here? You said 4 hours specifically. That's an interesting time frame for this. Reaccumulation at a high level. I feel like we've seen this chart a bunch of times today. Clearly putting in some higher lows right here too. I'd be looking for this one actually have a short-term move back up to like 185 region. Were you looking for USD? I think, yeah, you were looking for USD. What about a daily? Same thing, maybe a short, I mean, if it did have a short-term move back down to like 125, I'd be looking for another low to try to extrapolate from there. But even on the short-term time frames right now, it looks like it's actually pulling through the corner. What I like about this one, 4 hour Stokes, having a little bit of a drama right there, right at the edge of the bearish control zone. Usually when you see something like this, where it kind of gets rejected first and then powers through, that's going to be a little bit of an early reversal sign in a lot of cases. 4 hour RSI is more or less neutral. I don't really see anything particularly staring at me in the face. So I'm more inclined to go with the macro trend here. So to the upside, maybe has a pullback down to like 125 or 130ish region, but ultimately I'd be looking for that one to try a higher low right there. Let's see. No more paper says last one. All right, last one. I'm glad that you spread them out too. It was a lot less overwhelming. All right, FTM, USD, daily Binance, got it. Man, you are the fucking best because you get the exchange, you get the time frame, you get the base pairing. It's like the trifecta or the quadfecta of good shit once again, sirs. Let's see, a good bullish reset here as well. It looks like again similar to a lot of the other shitcoins that we've seen. Could be a little bit of a short-term pullback. 31 cents is certainly not out of the question, but I'd be looking for a greater bounce there. I'm gonna go down to the 4 hour right here, which I believe you specifically asked for. No, you did not. You did not. It actually looks a lot more like it wants to try to put in a low right here, actually. So it is relevant to see. And actually, we're seeing the exact same thing. Oh, no, actually, we're not seeing the exact same thing that we just spoke about here on 4 hour Stokes. But I do think that this one tries putting a low right here. And you can use this as a bit of a basing area, too, on a 4 hour at about 37.70-ish region. Sorry, that's 37 cents, 37 spot 70 cents, that is. For a bit of a basin region, meaning that if it does break below there, I would look for that next downside level to get hit somewhere around, like I said, about 31 cents. But ultimately, this one probably does pull through. I mean, we've seen a clear bullish reset on daily Stokes right here. We even are hitting a multi-year, or is this a multi-year trend line? No, it is a year-long trend line coming in from February 2020, connected with our lows in October 2020, and then more recently right here. Again, have another run at it, and daily RSI is a clear bullish reset as well, putting a little bit of a lower low right there, but coming back down to the neutral zone. So I do look at this as more or less good on the on the higher term time frames. I know this sounds fucking crazy, man. I know that it does, but again, if Bitcoin's going to remain in its bullish posturing, as long as it's above $58,000, you're just not going to see me be bearish about amongst pretty much anything else versus US dollar at the very least. Hey, what's up, Bob Lazarian, aka Turbo Man? What's up, Turbo Man? Krown, been watching since Elio's first interviews. Yeah, man, fuck. I love Elio. I love Elio trades. He's a great guy. Glad to see him. I'm so glad to see his fucking success right now. Not just with this channel, but also with his new coin, man. I'm not really interested in the altcoin sector, but if there's one guy that I trust for that would be him. And it's very interesting to see him like actually make his own altcoin as well, because he's a guy who I can actually like say myself, I fucking trust him. I trust him full-heartedly. Well, maybe that comes back to bite me, but probably not. Probably not. No, I know Elliot pretty damn well, and it's pretty damn cool to see his success, and I'm just fucking happy for him, man. Can you check out KLV and Nexo? Sure, but no base pairing, no time frames. I'm just gonna go to a daily and do this one rather quickly here. Let's see, KLV Tether, short term up. I'd be looking for this one to pop back up towards 10.5 cents region. Probably does just get continuation anyways. I mean, look, all these charts are more or less the same. They're trying to consolidation at a high level. You see the same sort of thing for all these shitcoins that were born in about 2020, later on in 2020. Very, 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 very similar structures. Yes, I mean, this is incredibly fucking aggressive, but goddamn, man, I'm not, I mean, that is fucking incredibly aggressive, but I don't know. Does it have another short-term move to the upside? Probably yes. In line with the rest of the market, probably yes. All right, let's see. What else did I miss? M. Aurora says Theta USD FTX, please. All right, no time frame, so I'm just gonna go with the daily and weekly here, perhaps. I think that this one should have some long-term history though, because I believe this one was around in 2017. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got plenty of history here. This is beautiful. This is really, really good. Similar to Bitcoin, consolidated at a high level. This one looks like continuation sooner rather than later as well. Daily RSI kind of tells the story. You can see a clear consolidation going around at the edge of the critical zone. Yes, fun time. Probably, party is going to be over relatively soon, but does it get another try to the upside first? I think so. I mean, the weekly is clear continuation for right now, playing out that same hidden bullish divergence. Actually, that one's already played out. I'd say to new all-time highs. This one, if it came back down to like 475, or sorry, what is this? No, sorry, not 475. Just above $5, I'd be looking at that as a major opportunity, at least for a nice bounce play. But is this one, likely to continue on to new all-time highs from here? I think it has one more push, at least one more push, and then I'd keep the red light signal on, because this one is. This one's pretty fucking aggressive right here, man. It's very, very aggressive. It wouldn't take much to hit off all of the divergence spots and get a little bit of selling cascades going in there. But at least for right now, I'd still look for a little bit of short-term continuation to new all-time highs, and then I'd be a little bit more concerned about this one. So fair enough. All right, let's see. What else did I miss? Where are we? Where did I leave off? Oh my god, man. Holy shit, I missed a lot of them. God damn. Mahedao Phi says, Sir, hello, sir. Can you look at Shitcoin Central BNT? BNT. Is this Binance new shitcoin? Versus USDT, okay, on 4-hour, 24-hour. No, this is Bancor. Yeah, this one's not even a 2020 shitcoin. This one's like a 2016, 2017 shitcoin. Although it doesn't seem to have much history on Binance, but I guess this is only the USDT pair, so probably is more on like the Bitcoin pairing. Again, short term, if it wants to have a short term downside move to like 715, I'd look at that as a bit of an opportunity, at least for a bounce play. Even on the 4-hour right here, though, it kind of looks like it wants to put into base where it is currently at. It's very similar to the last chart that we looked at as well. I'd probably be looking for this to reaccumulate right here. Probably looking for this, looking at this more or less as an opportunity. I am a bit concerned. We really want to see hidden divergences on these higher lows. So I'm a little bit more in line of saying that it's more likely to head down short term to the downside first. But ultimately, I do think that does get picked back on up and does march back on up. Now you do have this trend line coming in from the last few higher lows within this structure. So, do we see a retest of this first around the edge of the bullish control zone? Nonetheless, probably yes. So yeah, I'd say a little bit more on the short-term downside. However, I'd be looking for it to get picked up there. Give that a chance first and foremost. Maybe at that point you even do see some hidden bullish divergences postulated right there. But overall, I do think that it's just generally likely to follow Bitcoin more or less on the higher term time frame. So short term, a little bit of downside if I had to call it. What's up, Kendrick Camps? Kendrick Camps says, greetings, Canadians. Just a regular Cavian right here, sir. The Dominicans are with you. Fuck yeah, baby. We're together. we're in this together, baby. Feliz complete. I can't speak Spanish, man. Can you say that, Elsa? Feliz Calupalianos. Yo habla español un paqueto. Is that right? El tiempo. Poo coin. Read tell USD daily on cuck coin. How the fuck do you name your exchange, your highly sophisticated exchange? Cupcoin. Tell USD. Okay. Telcoin. Okay. Yeah, it is on KuCoin. It's on KuCoin and HitBTC. Pretty bad to begin with. But what do we have long term? Yeah, okay, we do have our traditional shitcoin chart long term, baby. There we go. Shitcoin, please inbound right now. But before they become inbound, do we have a little bit of short term downside move? It's looking likely. Yeah, I'd probably be looking for another stab back down towards 0.0061 region, somewhere back down around here, maybe even a little bit lower than that. Does it try another higher low within that structure? Probably, at the very least, a bounce, yes, and I would come back to it. Personally speaking, do I think it tries another upside move after that short term time frame pullback? Probably yes. I mean, that's just kind of the narrative of the market right now. But we do see a bit of a volume climax right here. Is it on the actual high? No, it is not. It's on the markup right there. So that is good. So yes, I would be looking for that first downside move to get picked back up on again, and I'd give it another chance. Let's see. ARBKF. What the fuck? ARBKF. What the hell is this thing, man? Argo blockchain. Oh, okay. So this is an actual stock, but it trades OTC. Again, not much history here to be fair, but you can see a nice, nice higher low structure right here. Daily Stokes looks like I kind of want to twist back up, but we don't have much history here to be fair. But if I did have to call it, yeah, I'd probably be looking for them to move back up to like a little bit above $4. Any sort of a closure on a daily above $4, and I'd be looking for new highs on this one. We can probably visualize a measure move right here. Just be about $1 or so. Next targeted region would be about $5 if that condition was met. And if I had to call it right now, do I favor the upside? Yes, I do. You're even seeing hidden bullish divergence likely form itself right here. We do see lower lows on RSI with higher lows on price action. I'd be favoring the upside here if you put a gun to my head. Hey, there he is. There he is. All right. Mr. Tasco says, Krown bro. Hello, Mr. Tasco bro. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to you as well, sir. Cardano Bitcoin Weekly. Okay, so yeah, we looked at it versus US dollar earlier. So I imagine, I'm very curious to see actually how different the Satoshi pairing is here. You're looking at daily, weekly. Okay, I think Binance probably has the best history for this. I'd be looking for, it already kind of tried to bounce off this level, and that got rejected real fucking fast. We are seeing bullish resets on a lot of indicators here, so it really wouldn't take too much to get a bigger bounce on this one. See what the weekly looks like. I'd still get another chance to bounce here on first pass on the 10 simple on the weekly. This one can bounce all the way back up to almost 2,000 Satoshis and wouldn't really even register anything different here. Ultimately, though, long term, do I think it comes down? Yes, I do, because I am looking at a major reversal on Bitcoin dominance, and I'd probably be looking for a more medium to long term move down to the 21 here, around 1,400 Satoshis, maybe a little bit above that. But ultimately speaking, first move, I'd be looking for a bounce. Then I'd be looking for that bounce to likely get sold into, because we do have, we don't necessarily have like the best history for this one long term. Yeah, I'd be looking for monthly to come back down here. Very likely a big bounce though off that level. However, very likely a big bounce. Let's actually take a look. Let's actually take a look at the Bitcoin dominance for a second, just to verify, because we did get that weekly closure yesterday. And what do we got? Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. It's your traditional altcoin time once again, my friends. Enjoy the altcoin party. And by altcoin party, I mean the altcoin go fuck yourself party, because I'd be looking for this one to very likely make its way up into the deeper 60% over the probably the next month or two. Very, 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 very likely here. This is a clear higher low reversal. We see this on different, I mean, how much you trust this shit down here? I don't think that you can trust it, but more importantly, again, versus US dollar, alt's going to follow whatever Bitcoin does. Probably going to be good. Versus Satoshis, on the whole, not all of them, but on the whole, looks like we're in for a bit of a reversal here. Oh my God, I see Z-Rex. Z-fucking-Rex from No Noise. Fuck yeah, man. Holy shit. Talk about OGs right there. Congrats on the 3 years, buddies. Best of the best to you and Elsa. Best of the best to you as well. And there he is, Caretaker himself and Nimbo. Fuck yeah. Our two lovely moderators. I wonder if we have any other moderators in here right now. But, well, I guess Elsa's one. Oh, fuck her. But, Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop laughing. Hey, what's up, Batman? Another OG. God damn, man, this is great. Krown, can we be bears again? I would absolutely love to, but unfortunately, I'm trying not to lose a shit ton of money right now. So unfortunately, I can't do that right now. But believe me, Mr. Batman, at some point, we'll be able to hold hands in red dildo solidarity once again soon. Well, maybe not that soon, but probably within the next, I don't know, a couple years. year at least. I can't believe I've been looking at your ugly mug for 3 years now. Congrats. That's right, man. Good old rat face is staring you right in the fucking eyes and saying, hey, man, happy anniversary. All right, let's see what else we got, baby. There he is, Mr. Z. Fucking goddamn, man. Everyone's crawling out the woodwork today. This is great. Dhruvan Patel has retracted his message, but why? Why would you do such things? Why have you done this? Dan says, refer to you as my mentor to friend's girlfriend. Hey, man, I understand that, it's kind of weird because when I refer to my mentor as my mentor, he tells me, he's like, what the fuck? The fuck did you just call me? What the fuck did you just call me? It always feels weird because you don't really think of yourself as that way. And I don't think of myself as that way as well. I just think of myself as sharing because that's relatable. That is more importantly, like it's sustainable too. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm not like Professor Krown over here. I don't have all the fucking answers, obviously. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, this is a game where you don't become perfect. You just become better and better and better. And at that point, I think it's just a better terminology to say like, no, I'm just sharing what I've learned here, and it helps me. It comes back to me, and hopefully, it can be of some value to people out there as well. But we're all kind of on our like tangential, but parallel journeys together, and that I think is really fucking healthy, rather than like it's like guru and then the fucking underlings. That's I would fucking hate to ever be fucking thought of as that way. No. That is like gross and disgusting and weird and very weird. So yeah, man. Okay, you're not even interested in that right now. Let's go look at the fucking coin that you want to look at. GRT. Is this like that Grossens tokens, whatever the hell? No, this is the graph. That's right. The graph on 4 hour. Okay, probably Binance can be the one to go to for this. Very similar chart to a lot of the other ones that we've seen. Once again, sending a triangle at a high level. Does it bounce off this level? Probably does. I do think that we're seeing, this is very similar to, I think, like 4 or 5 charts ago that we saw a little bit of a drama at the edge of the bearish control zone, fights through. I'd be looking at this as an early signal that it probably does try another continuation move somewhere around about $2. Above $2.15, I'd be mega bullish on this one. Once again, looking for likely a run at the prior all-time highs and likely new all-time highs on top of that, probably somewhere in like the $3.50 to $4 region. And this one is kind of primed to move right now. Jules actually even switching around posture here too. So I think that it actually you might have even already seen the lows on this one in this formation. It's pretty damn mature within this consolidation, it looks like. Okay, what else we got? New says, Krown bro, new bro, mind taking a look at Troy USD. All right, so this is some sort of a, what the hell is this? I don't think I've heard of this one. Troy USD on, it's got to be Binance, daily, weekly. Short-term timeframes look good. Daily looks good. Again, another kind of insight or another good example of Wyckoff right here. Accumulation below this level. Boom. This is your first markup phase. I'd be looking for new highs on this one. Again, not the most like flowing chart of all time, but I'm not gonna be bearish on something that that looks like this, man. Clear breakout volume right here on the weekly too. I'd be looking for this one to try for new all-time highs on the whole, but I'm not necessarily sure what time frame you're looking for. Oh, you're looking for daily, weekly. So it sounds like you're more angled towards the higher term time frames. Again, short-term time frames can they have pullbacks, maybe even back down to like 0.0133, but ultimately I'd be looking for new highs on this one. Daily, daily still obviously bullish, weekly is obviously still bullish. I'd be looking for new all-time highs. So fair enough. And for USD, I'd mostly be concerned with what Bitcoin's doing. Whatever Bitcoin's doing, mostly alt's going to follow that in varying degrees of strength or weakness, in some cases. Hey, what's up, Dhruvan Patel? There it is. That's a message. Hey, Krown. Hey, hey, Mr. Patel. Can we look at Mana? Okay, yeah. Mana. Yeah, this one's a 2017, right? And you want to look at versus Ethereum. Okay, that's new. I guess. Well, let's just fucking look at it first. How about that? You don't need to make charts difficult on yourself, man. You can look at this versus USD or Bitcoin if you want. But fair enough. If you really insist on Ethereum, I'd be looking for a bit of a pullback here. Maybe does pull back all the way down to what? 45,000 butyrols. Is that the operating term on this one? Short term, but everything's kind of pulling through here. Ultimately long term, which it sounds like you're probably, well, actually I don't know. Oh, sorry, expecting to hold Mana forever. If you hold it forever, then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with it? Yes, it sounds like your main concern is like, is this thing going to be gaining versus Ethereum? Yeah, it looks like it wants to break out and probably continue the long-term uptrend. Can it have some short-term downside? Yes, like I said, it can have some significant short-term downside to like 43 to 45,000 butyrols, but I'd be looking for long-term upside, and I'd be looking at that as a major opportunity, which I think is what you're looking for. Should you swap to Ethereum now? Well, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is looking like more short-term continuation as well, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe a short-term downside move. Yeah, to that like 45,000, not Satoshi, but butyrol region. Again, long-term, if that's what you're concerned with, I'd probably be looking for more upside on this one. At least another try towards new all-time highs. Mr. Bazinka Kinsta says, Krown brother, Bazinka brother, what the fuck is up with the triple bearish divergence on Bitcoin in the daily? Is there triple bearish divergence on the daily? Well, I would argue that there's probably not. Is there? First and foremost, actually there is. You are right. We got 1 right here, 2 right here, 3 right here, but not confirmed, sir. And a lot of the time leading into your breakouts, it actually does look like this. But here's the thing: we are getting that short-term time frame pullback that we spoke about yesterday. I do still think $58,000 is kind of a bit of a magnet for price action, but I would be looking for bounces around there. In this case right here, could it put in 3 drives of bearish divergence? Yes, absolutely it could. How would you confirm 3 drives of bearish divergence? That's the $58,000 pivot. And that's why I put so much significance on it. If Bitcoin does break below $58,000, and you could even use a 4-hour on this one, I would say it doesn't need to be a daily, then I would look for that daily bearish divergence to play out. And that will produce targets depending upon your disposition, much lower. I would say much lower. $53,000, somewhere around the 21 exponential average right here, is where I'd be looking towards ultimately at the very least, and a bounce along the way at wherever the 10 simple is, which is currently coming in around $56,000. So that's what I'd be looking at right there. And actually Bitcoin is starting to make a pretty aggressive move down towards there. Let's see if it actually does continue. But still, I do hold on to what I said earlier. As long as Bitcoin's above $58,000, I'm just not really bearish on any time frames. I'm looking for continuation, probably even this week, to new all-time highs. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see, what the fuck is up with the, oh yeah, we already looked at that. Okay, anything to worry about? Well, it could be yes, as we just notified. FET, USDT, does the trend continue? Well, I imagine, again, whatever Bitcoin does, man, it's probably gonna be tethered to that. Okay, let's see. Fetch.ai. This has got to be a 2017 shitcoin as well. I remember this one popping up way long ago. I look at this, just a backfill on your last daily. I'd be looking for a bounce here. This one's in new all-time high territory. I'd be looking for continuation here. Yes. To put it bluntly, I'd be looking for continuation here probably for the next couple of weeks. Very likely to new all-time highs. Short term, do we extend the pullback a little bit more? Could be, yeah. Coming back down to like what 58 cents is certainly not out of the question, but ultimately I do think that this one gets another try towards new all-time highs, and then and then a little bit of cautionary warning signals once again. I think we're getting there. I do think that we're getting there, but not quite just yet. I do think that it's still, I still want to see the market actually prove itself here if it is going to turn around to be at least medium-term time frame bearish. So again, $58,000 likely actually might even get tested on this stream here, but let's see if it actually does hold or not. All right, let's see. Ethereal. Hey, what's up, Ethereal? MicroStrategy. Yeah, we can look at MicroStrategy. Let's see what we got back down over here, 784. I'd be looking for this one to pop back up in line with what Bitcoin's doing. You see MicroStrategy essentially follow Bitcoin a lot of the time. Now, short term, does it have another move down to like 725 region? Maybe yes. But ultimately, I'd be looking at this area right here as a big area. And that's going to be this area right here at about 820, 821 region. Any sort of move back above there, I would be looking at this as an inverted head and shoulders, and I'd be having targets back up towards like $950 to $1,000. And depending upon what Bitcoin's doing, you kind of get like that what I refer to as like the DeLorean trade, where you get to see what Bitcoin does first. Typically MicroStrategy will follow after that. So what I would say with this one is, because Bitcoin actually did make new all-time highs over the weekend, probably does fall to the upside. Short term, does it have a little bit of a downside movement to that, to that 50, what was it, 720-ish level? What was it, 720? Anywhere between 720 and 700 actually is free game right there. That's completely fine. And then of course, if it does break below this current low structure right here, then you actually have a bit of a phase shift. But for right now, I more or less go in line with Bitcoin, with whatever Bitcoin's doing on the whole. Let's see what else we got. Vector De Vries says, when is Elsa going to do TA? Cheers on 3 years. I don't know. Would you like to hear some Elsa TA? Would you like to do some TA right now? She's got some TNA, but would you like to do some TA? She says moon. Sorry, that's not a target. That's not an analysis. Jesus, man. All right, what else we got, baby? What else we got? Z-Rex says, did you pick the Ides of March for your start date on purpose, Krown? Actually, I didn't, man. Funnily enough, it actually just happened to happen that way. Fuck, I wonder what even propelled that decision. Yeah, I remember, if you want to know the actual story of how I started this channel, I started doing analysis like on a fucking bodybuilding forum of all places, where people would have like half naked pictures of themselves and a lot of it in like Z's, the avatars. It's a really fucking weird place, really fucking cool place, but really fucking weird place. And then someone like just asked me to put my analysis on a video. I was like, all right, it's weird, but like, I don't know, could probably do that. And it actually just became easier because it's like, okay, well then I can just talk things out. It's probably gonna be more clear instead of typing it out, and I don't know, it's probably for the better. And then why was I there? I was trying to get jacked like Z's, bro. And then I didn't. Mark B says, can you check my plums, please, Krown? Yes. Why this way, sir? Show me those blue plums. I would like to pick them and take them down to the farmer's market. Show them to my son. What was the oldest woman you've ever had sex with, Mark B? Was she above 90 or not? That's what I'd like to know. That's really great, man. That's really fucking great. Yeah, Elsa thinks that's funny. Yeah, did you know that Mark B raped a 90-year-old woman in a retirement people home? I'm not even joking. And the woman was dating his grandfather too before he died. Really fucked up.
Gangbang?
No, it was not a gangbang. She was unconscious. She's fucking 90. Disgusting.
Gangbang with a twist?
It was consensual. Oh dear God. You want to hear the funniest masturbation story from your favorite fucking sexualizer?
Yeah.
Guess who I heard this story from? Well, one day when he was in India as like a, I don't know, young teen, 11 or 12 years old, perusing the internets using fucking LimeWire, or one of those old downloading services.
LimeWire?
Yeah, LimeWire. Don't you remember that? Or like Napster or something?
I do.
And he was downloading. His cousin was over. You know, his cousin was over, and they were being little kids together. And they were like, "Oh, let's download the movie The Ring because we're little kids and we want to watch that." And you know, it's a hot thing right now. And then simultaneously, he said his cousin was also downloading Bang Bros or Bang Bus, whatever the fuck it is. And so, little do they know, you know, back in those days when the interwebs was not all that, you know, sustainable, and, you know, the infrastructure was kind of fucked up, and when you're on LimeWire or whatever the hell it is, and you're downloading things that can kind of get convoluted with each other, especially if you have a little bit of internet go out, well, it seemed to be that when our young little Indian friend went to go watch Bang Bros by himself at one night, and he was getting to the good part, just at the fucking finale, what happens? It switches over to the girl in the ring climbing out of the fucking thing. And this poor Indian fellow is scared for life, never to touch his little pee-pee again. Terrible, fucking terrifying. I would never do that. And I would also never, and I would never even look at my little boy pee-pee after that. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. It did happen. It actually did happen. Yes. Plums were sold after that shit. Fishing with Donnie says, back again for another Litecoin look. Did you like my story? Look, one week in 4 hours. Yeah, we can look at Litecoin over here. But seriously, man, if that happened to you as a kid, you'd probably think that like God is sending you a signal to never do this again. This is worse than fucking killing kittens in heaven. This is you're now haunted as fuck, man. Litecoin clear markup phase right here. You know, if it wants to have a backfill on like last 193, 194 open, I think that would be an obvious opportunity. This one very likely does retest above what is it, like 230 to 240ish region. And I'd probably be looking for long-term continuation here. Short-term, very likely a pullback. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one come all the way back down, actually, maybe even 180 region, although that would be an obvious opportunity here too. Bearish divergence kind of, well, actually, that's not going to be bearish divergence. That's not correct right there. But what I would be looking at is momentum turning down alongside a bit of a lower high in this structure. Now, I would be looking for it to bounce pretty significantly off of either, okay, what was the weekly level? This one can get wiki, seeing as it is Litecoin after all. Anywhere between 185 and 190-ish region. But I'd be looking for bounces in there. All right, let's see. Kendrick Camp says, your old green couch was all for the Ides of March. You remember that? Only the OGs remember the couch, man. The couch days were great. I don't know if those videos are even still available on the channel anymore. Is Bitcoin going to test 58,000? Says Brian Buss. I think it's very possible right here. The question isn't whether it tests it or not. The question is whether it holds it or not. To me, so that's kind of the wrong way to be thinking about it. At least in my, in the way that I sort of look at these. Is it likely to test? I mean, it's pretty fucking close already, man. What's another $500 down? I think we already got down to 58,451.5 on Mexico. Not bad right there. Yeah, is it likely to test it? I mean, it's not that far away. The question is, does it hold it? If it fails to hold right there, then I'd be looking for first sort of quick move down to about $55,000, anywhere between 55 and 56, short-term bounce there, but very likely continuation implied towards about 52.5 to 53, and that and that's a different, or sorry, that is a relevant move, I suppose. Let's see, what else did I miss right now? Dude, daddy, feel free to send a message, man. Feel free to send a message. Let's see. Oh my god, I'm already 1 hour and 44 minutes into this bitch. Goddamn. Cookie says, bonjour, Mr. Krown. Bonjour, mon ami. Did you hear about whales' wallets diminishing on Glassnode? They're 10% less. Who is it in your opinion? Like, who is it? Well, I haven't contacted the owners of the wallets to know. There's no way to know, man. There's not really any way to know. Hey, appreciate that, dude, daddy. Appreciate that, man. There's really no way to know, man. That sort of stuff I leave towards like the crypto news people and the crypto like media people, because look, it's something that sounds good. It's like the Bitcoin whales are letting go of their wallets, but who are they? Who are these mysterious whales? It's like, it doesn't fucking matter who they are. If they're letting go of the wallets and they're actually selling, if we actually see sells, then that matters. That's documentable, that's executable. We can see that over time. We can verify that. But telling a story is not. You can't make trades. You can't manage risk off of a fucking story. You can manage risk off of numbers, however, and until we actually see those numbers, then I don't really, I just look at it as like, a cool narrative within the market, but not anything executable for myself. Mr. Tokyo Channel, there he is. How you doing, man? Let's see. Okay, SD. Okay, I think we'll do this one. Last one here. SD Hodl, where are you? How is XLM looking? Man, another one that we used to look at a lot on this channel, like way the fuck back when people used to love this one. Now I think it's kind of fallen out of favor. Where's my Stellar? There you are, Stellar, huh? Very similar to a lot of the other charts that we've seen. Now, if we are going to be bearish here, you would be looking at this as a descending triangle. And technically speaking, Daily Jewel is giving a halter short signal here too. So does it have another downside move towards about 34 cents region? Perhaps yes. About 34 cents region. Could be yes, but I'd be looking for a bounce there. Long term, is it likely to try another move to the upside? It did get a nice move here, to be fair. Man, it must be very frustrating to be a Ripple hodler and see your long lost brother be doing this while you're not doing fuck all, really. Although, Ripple probably does follow. But, what is it more likely to do short term? This one does look a little more downside angle short term, actually. Short term, I'd be looking for another run at, 37 cents region. Breakage below, make that 36 cent region. Breakage below 36 cent on a 4 hour, and I'd extend that downside move all the way down to about, 33.5 to 34 cent, which is a rather big move right there. And I'd be looking for bounces within that region. A little bit less of an obvious chart right there. To be fair, Holistic APRN says 1 million liquidity on wrapped Bitcoin on Uniswap just went to 28,000 over 1 day. Thoughts? Just went to 28,000. So 1 million went to 28,000. Well, my question would be, can we verify that data? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I've learned through kind of like hosting this app over here. I'm talking about the Krown trading app right now. This app over here, a lot of data that you get around the web for, the crypto sphere especially, is very questionable, very fucking questionable. So to say a 1 million change to 28,000, which is, like that is a humongous differential overnight, over one day, over one 24-hour period. I'd first want to verify that information. So I'm not familiar with that information myself. It's not something that I, particularly like look at. So I would have to say a humble amount of I don't know within the context of that, but I'd want to first verify that before even like commenting it, because I just happen to know that it's very difficult to get legitimate data in this space. It's very, very difficult. SD Hodl says Algo USD on the weekly. All right. This one will be the last one then. This will be the last one. All right. Algo USD, you said on the weekly. Wow, it's actually on some legitimate exchanges there. Looking pretty good here, popping back above the range. And this is actually going to bode well for a lot of the other altcoins. Perhaps this one might be even leading here. We can see that this one's actually having a nice little pop back above the 119 region. I'd be looking for this one to continue, probably up to about 133, 134 region. Daily is looking decent here. Yep. I'd be looking for this one to try again to the upside. The next sort of piece of information I'll be looking for to confirm continuation would be daily Stokes crossing up in the bullish control zone. This is the same interplay that we saw earlier, but with regards to the bearish control zone, right? Where you get rejected on your first pass, boom, a little bit of down, then back up. If you see that, very good signal that this one will pop back up towards 140 and beyond probably. Daily RSI is giving a little bit of hidden bullish divergence coming off the low. Yeah, I'd be looking for this one to likely pop back up, to be honest with you. One of the better charts, no, it's not one of the better charts. Just kind of in the middle of the pack, really. Consolidating around the prior all-time high, but in this market, that is going to be interpreted first and foremost as good. All right, cool. People need to relax, says Tokyo Channel. Spoken like a true vet of this market. Spoken like a true fucking vet of this market, man. Yeah, I think it's very easy to see the people who've been in this market for a while and people who haven't been in this market for a while. I think a lot of people who have been in this market for a while who are looking at the higher term timeframes are not too concerned with the short term right now. It's more or less like looking for the next higher low and looking for the next continuation phase, which I actually still think that we probably even see new all-time highs this week. Very likely this week. However, if Bitcoin does break $58,000 to the downside, then no, I would be looking for a little bit more consolidation sideways within this range. Maybe another run at like low $51,000, $52,000, and then probably tries to work its way upwards and onwards from there long term. Alrighty, cool. All right. So with that in mind, do we want to wrap this bitch up? I suppose we should. We shall. Let's see. Oh, we even have a 2-day backfill now too. All right, excellent. All right, so how do we want to start this one off? Let's see. What are the most relevant things to be aware of right now? I think the 2 days can be very, very much relevant, as we're going to be closing that one tonight. Yep, that's 16. What about the 3-day? Do we close this one tonight? No, that closes tomorrow night. So fair enough. First things first, we'll start off with the 2-day. All right, let's wrap this bitch up. On the 2-day, Bitcoin coming back down, backfilling last 2-day open, anywhere around $58,000 is fair game on this one, as we did say was likely yesterday. But here's the question: does Bitcoin actually break that area or not? As long as Bitcoin is above $58,000, I have no real reason to be medium or long-term bearish. Of course, short-term, that's a little bit more personal, I suppose, because these are multi-$1,000 moves, so it certainly does actually matter and certainly can be made some plays off of. But what I would like to say right here, while we're on the YouTubes, is that as long as Bitcoin's above $58,000, I generally favor the upside. I generally favor Bitcoin making new all-time highs this week, and we can see clear continuation signals on the weekly here as well, closing on new all-time highs, and we can see a natural resistance right around about $64,000 to $65,000. If and when Bitcoin does make its way up there, which I would actually be a little bit more in line of looking for, probably even maybe later this week, early next week, something like that. When we go down to the lower term timeframes over here and we chart out these ranges as they are, I'd be looking at Bitcoin again right around $58,000. This is a big pivot right here for the medium term timeframes, in line with the 2.618 extension. Also, our prior high on this range. So as long as Bitcoin does remain above there, I look at this as all more or less a bullish reset. And I think this becomes a lot more obvious when we look at CMEs over here, right? CME is a little bit more, well, actually, no, we just confirm a little bit of bearish divergence. So maybe we do get that next downside move on the short term. But again, $58,000 is the big number for me right now. As long as that area does hold, I look for that as an opportunity. But we are seeing expansive volatility while hidden bullish divergence is still playing out, I believe, plus 4-hour Stokes trying to bounce right here. If we can actually confirm that next cross the upside, I'll be looking at that as a new, as another good indication that Bitcoin does try another upside move here in the short term, especially. If we go to the medium term timeframes, this still looks more or less like continuation. 12-hour RSI telling the story right now. Consolidation at the edge of the bullish control zone. Classic fucking signal right there, and even taking out the last high on it is usually going to be good enough for me to look for continuation just based off that, alongside 12-hour Stokes, which actually are coming down right now. So a little bit of a bifurcation between these two. But I still favor the overall trend here, again, mediated by the $58,000 level. Now, let's talk about what happens if Bitcoin does break 58,000 bucks to the downside. In this case, I would be looking for extension at the very least for a short-term move. Let's see. Okay, where's our chart right here? Do we want this one or that one? We can use both these, but this one's a little bit more done out. I'd be looking for a short-term move down to about 55,000 bucks, probably short-term bounce right there, with continuation implied down to about 52.5, 53,000 bucks. So that is, you know, that is about a $5,000 move. Very much relevant, yes, but I would be looking for another potential low to be put in within this region right now. That's again only if Bitcoin does break 58,000 bucks on a 4-hour closure. Could we use a 2-hour closure here too? I think a 2-hour closure could work, but I'd really feel a lot more confident with a 4-hour in this case. You know, for what it's worth, I actually do think that Bitcoin does try another upside move from this region. To be quite honest with you, just based off the higher term timeframes that they are right now, should also bring this up as well. So I did not mention this on the main analysis here, but it is actually a pretty damn big deal. Is we did just close another 2-week, and guess what? The 2-week is trending above the topside Toronto band. And what are we doing right now? We're just testing the topside Toronto band as it is. I mean, this thing again could come all the way down to like 52,000 bucks and be completely fine. I'm looking for continuation based off this. Again, we also do have that signal on the daily as well, which typically does just lead towards general continuation with the 55 exponential average right here, that green moving average, and its interplay with the bottom side Toronto band. Anytime we have seen the bullish cross of that, while above the 20 simple, that's your brown moving average right here, and it has a positive slope. That's your continuation, as you see right here, coming out of this base to about 58,000 bucks, coming out of this base over here to about 42,000 bucks, coming out of this base over here to about 20,000 bucks, coming out of this base over here to about 12,500 bucks. You know, all of these pretty damn big moves. And while they do have pullbacks within them, it is general continuation on the higher term timeframes, which is kind of what I'm looking at right now with Bitcoin doing this. Again, 58,000 bucks, big level right there. Bitcoin does break below there. A little bit of short-term, short-term issues, but again, you know, I do favor the long term right now, and I think the bi-weekly really speaks for itself within this territory. So with that said, I will shut it off right there, and I think we'll go back, or will we go back? No, I think that's fine. I want to say a massive thank you again in a more sincere tone. I mean, 3 years is fucking special because I don't even. it doesn't feel like it's been that long for this channel, and there's been a lot of relationships formed. There's been a lot of cool times. There's been a lot of funny times. There's been a lot of testing times too. But it's all been for the best, and I feel like we've learned a lot along the way. And I just want to say a massive thank you for being a part of this community because it's been pretty much the highlight of my life thus far. Actually, it's been pretty fucking fun. So with that said, fellas, and also whatever other genders might be existing out there, I want to say a massive thank you. I salute you. I'll be back on for a little bit of a short term pick me up a little bit later. And with that said, take care and see you